his life,
Hey, son, what's wrong? You were fidgeting all through dinner, and Mom says you're having a hard time going to sleep. What's going on?
Dad, I'm afraid to go to school tomorrow.
Well, you know what? It's a new school year. It's a new town for him. You know, maybe he's afraid too. I mean, is he really all that big? He's not that big, is he?
Yes, he's huge. He's twice my size, and he called me a pipsqueak on the playground.
I'm sorry about that. Have you tried talking to one of the teachers about it?
No, Dad, I can't do that.
How come? Just because he's bigger than you, does that mean that you have to be that afraid? I mean, is the kid that big? You say he's a big kid? And so you're afraid of him. But, you know, just because he's bigger than you, son, that doesn't mean that you need to be afraid of him. No, it doesn't mean that at all. As a matter of fact, that reminds me of this story. It's about a little kid, really. He was just a young man. His name was David. And David was facing one of the biggest bullies that ever lived. This bully's name was he was a giant, and his name was Goliath.
I didn't really see you. My name's David. This guy he was Goliath. Let me catch my breath, and I'll explain a little bit. You see, this man, this beast, he was challenging the army of Israel for 40 days. There's been a war going on for so long, probably before I was even born, and I'll get into that in a second. Before I get into that, I gotta go back. See, I live in a little town called Bethlehem. It's not too far from here. I normally take care of my father's sheep. For today, for some reason, my dad told me to come, and he said, bring some food to my brothers. My brothers are soldiers in this army. And so I did, and I found a servant to watch the sheep, and I grabbed the food, and I grabbed the bread, and I packed up, and I made for the journey. When I got here, it was quiet. I could hear one man talking. I can't even tell the stuff that he was saying. Foul stuff, mocking my God, mocking the Lord, mocking our army, mocking our men. I was upset. I was angry. And the thing is, nobody was doing anything about it. This man was up here, and he was mocking God. He was cursing God. And I looked around, and no soldiers were doing anything about it. So I decided I would do something. My brothers were mad at first. They didn't want me there, but I was just doing what my father said. So I found the king. I couldn't just stand here and let this man mock my God. And I decided if no one was going to do something, then I'll do it. So I found the king, and I went up to him, and I told him that I would fight him. At first he laughed at me. He mocked me. He said I was too small. He said I was too young. And he said I had no experience in battle. And he was right. But he had nobody else. So I told him a story. I said one time when I was watching my sheep, that a lion came. And you gotta imagine this. I was in there, it was nighttime, I was behind the fire, and all of a sudden I heard a lion. And it came out of nowhere and attacked one of my sheep. I was terrified. But I prayed to God, and I jumped on that lion, I grabbed his mane, and I punched it right in the face. And it worked. Another time a bear came. And I grabbed my sling, I loaded a rock, I swung it around, and with God's grace, I hit him right and it killed him. And through telling those stories, King Saul listened to me. So he told me he had his armor. He gave me his armor, and his sword and his helmet, and he told me that I had to wear it. I gave one look to him and I said I couldn't do it. I've never tried on armor. I never used a sword. I never used a helmet or a shield. He kind of looked at me a little scared, and I was nervous, but I said, with God, I can do anything. This man right here is cursing my God, and I'm going to stop him. Through God's grace, I knew I couldn't do it to myself. So I went out to fight. And I could see him, he was laughing at me. He said I was too small. And I prayed to God, and I said, God, I can't do anything through my strength, God, but I know you're here with me. And he was standing there, right there. I took one of my stones. I loaded my sling, and I prayed one last prayer to God. I said, God, guide this stone. I went running to him. I had my stone ready. I released. And I never had a more perfect shot. It drove him right in the face, right in the forehead. And that giant went down. It's still a miracle. I don't understand how it works. God is good. God is very good. And I think the army of Israel got their courage back. They started to chase the Philistines out of here. And I'm left here telling you the story. I don't think he's going anywhere. But just to be safe,
You see, son? And then David took that head right up to King Saul and showed him the great victory that God had given him. All of Israel was praising, all of Israel was calling David's name. But you know what? David didn't care about that praise. David wanted to make sure that God got all the glory because God gave the victory.
Wow, thanks, Dad. Now I know that God can help me through all my trials.
That's right, son. Anytime and every time. You know what? I'm glad I got to share that story with you, but it's time for you to get some sleep now. You've got a long day tomorrow in school.
I love you, Dad. Good night.
Love you too, buddy. Have a good night.